Hi guys, I am Agnas Placid, a biomedical engineering student from TKM Institute of Technology. Here being part of Biomed 360 campaign and introducing Mr. Shyju Teeyes sir, who was a high secondary school teacher and currently running a prominent medical entrance institute inspiring so many youngsters to attain their goals. So, through this section, we may acquire more knowledge about ECG machines. So let's get started.
On behalf of my team members and Biomed 360 campaign, hereby I am cordially inviting Shyju Teeyes sir, who is currently running an entrance-oriented coaching center, which is known as Insight Eduzone, which paved path for the upcoming vibrant generations. Apart from a teacher, he is a great motivator for many youngsters to raise their future onto a professional path as well as the path of humanity and mankind. Hereby, I welcome all the members present over here in the pleasant evening to have more knowledge about our ECG machines. And by moving on to our section, sir, shall we start our questions?
Yes, you can start.
Okay, sir. Our first question is, can you share your experience with ECG machines and what were the procedures you have undergone?
Well, I had an experience with the ECG machine quite a few number of times. I myself has undergone a cardiac arrest, then followed by a bypass surgery at Amrita Hospital, Ernakulam. So, as a part of this procedure and also during the diagnosis, also my ECG has been monitored many times. So, my personal experience was just like any other test. ECG is also a normal test, but the procedures that they are doing during the ECG, that is not that much comfortable as far as myself is concerned. When we reach this cabin of this ECG, very few times only with this ECG machine come to my room or come to our place where we are laying. Many of the time we have gone to this ECG room, and when we reach there, first of all, what I have felt is that environment, the room itself is not that much big. It's most of the time it's a very congested place where one person can just stand or lie only. So that is one difficulty that I used always, that it is not at all spacious. It is very congested. So we have to adjust ourselves. And second case is most of the time there will be one or two steps to climb on this the cot in which we are usually allowed to lay and take the ECG. So we have to climb sometimes, and sometimes it is very low only. And they asked us to remove our clothes. So most of the time we have to put these clothes in somewhere else. In many cases, I have seen there is no place for us to put these clothes. And they ask us to lie on the cot, and they suddenly come and very carelessly they will do all these procedures. I don't know why they are doing like this, but they pour a lot of lubricants on our body, and suddenly they place the electrodes. I have 4 electrodes, 2 on my both limbs, and high limbs and forelimbs, and they have got a series of 6 or 7 electrodes on my chest also, and they place it. And most of the days I have a little bit hair in my body, so it will not remain there, but they will apply some pressure to keep it in that particular position. That make me feel a little bit uncomfortable, because there's a small needle-like structure inside that electrode that will pierce my body when they try to push it down. And within 1 or 2 minutes, it will be all over, and they will tell us, okay, everything is fine, you can go now. And after that also, I feel some difficulty, like how these lubricants are removed from my body, and they are not that much worried about the removal of these lubricants or helping us to remove that, because when we put our shirt and everything, the lubricants will be still sticking to the clothes, and it will feel a kind of difficulty. So that's what my experience. And And quite a few times I have lucky enough to get one or two good youngsters who are studious. I mean, they are students, and they behave very properly and cordially, and they do things much better than the experienced one. That's my personal experience.
Okay, sir. Our
Then,
second question is, sir, by using the adhesive, is there any allergies caused by the adhesive which has been used?
no, so far I haven't got any allergy because myself is not at all an allergic person. There may be some people with allergy, suffering from allergy. They may be having some difficulty. For me, there's nothing to do with the allergy of this kind of adhesives they have used. But these lubricants, I have told you, the
The
amount of
gel-like substance.
lubricants, gel, that the amount of gel they are applying, most of the times they want to make sure that it should be air free, so they pour a lot of gel on my body. And after that, also, they are not that much concerned about the removal of that gel from my body. So that creates some kind of inconvenience or difficulty. Apart from that, there is no allergic problem for me.
Okay, sir. Our third question, what was your feeling or the sensation when the process was going on? Is there was any sort of feelings or something like that?
No, nothing like that. I don't have any kind of because after I know this ECG machine is a machine that record the waves from my body. But while applying this machine, apart from that difficulty of those machine in my body, I don't feel any kind of difficulty or any kind of sensation while collecting these waves from my body by the machine. I don't feel any difficulty.
Okay, sir. As part of a curiosity, I'm asking, would it be possible for you to recollect or describe the all moment when you have experienced a heart dysfunction?
Well, that's a difficult question for me to answer, but I will try my level best.
Like
See,
sweating or something like that? Have you felt?
I will tell you. I will tell you. See,
Okay, sir.
what I have heard is what I have seen in movies, and some of my friends who have relatives who have got this kind of heart attack. They have having some kind of difficulties. But for me, there is nothing like that. I don't know what it occurred to me at 2:30 a.m. in the early morning while I was sleeping. I feel a kind of heaviness on my chest. I feel some heaviness, like there is something has clogged in my throat. I try to swallow it, but it's not moving down. I have taken some water; it's not coming down. So I feel a kind of heaviness in my chest, and because of some kind of inconvenience I felt, I slowly got up in my cot, and I called my wife and I told her that I have got some difficulty. Uh, Apart from that, I don't feel much of this sweating, but I have a small amount of discomfort. And there was a big amount of fan just there in my room. So there's small amount of discomfort like heaviness, then a small amount of sweating. Apart from that, I don't feel much difficulty in the till the morning. Also, I have that heaviness there. Then I went to the hospital, but the funny thing happened is there also they have taken an ECG first, and what the doctor told me that there is no problem with ECG, and they told me that my BP is low, and you have to take some amount of salt and to stabilize the BP. That's what she have told. So I came my home, but still that heaviness persisted there. Then because and I have taken a lot of lime juice with salt many a times, and I have got a BP apparatus in my home. I checked my BP many times, but it kept on lowering. It's shown nearly 90, 190, like that, oscillated up and down. When I have taken the salt, lime juice with the salt, it come up a little bit, then come down. So the next day, on the second day, I have again gone to the hospital, and I told them that still the difficulty persists. And I was told I want to see the cardiologist. Then the cardiologist have seen my ECG, and she became wondered, and she asked me that how the doctor allowed me to go to this ECG. I asked why. She was telling that you have got a heart attack. Suddenly, I just got
There
wondered
was some
because
there
uh,
was some ECG machine error or something like that.
no, ma'am, no, not like that. Because the same ECG was read by the doctor by the second time. First time it was done by the duty doctor, and she said it's okay, no problems. The same ECG was read by the cardiologist. The next day told me that there is some kind of problem, and again they have taken an ECG. The same problem persisted. Then they have gone for the echo and the blood test for the cardiac enzymes, and they confirmed that there was a heart attack. Then the next day I have gone for an angiography. They have found that there's some block, and there's some problem with my blood vessels associated with the heart. That wall is very thin, and because of that they cannot put the stent and all. So they told me that they want to get a second opinion whether the stent can be placed in my arteries. So I have gone to the Amrita Hospital, and because of some of my students are there, and their head of the cath lab have again gone through the entire procedure and told me that the problem is there and they cannot place the stent. And thereby, after a few days, I myself has undergone for a bypass surgery. And post the surgery, I have got some difficulties and all, I became short-tempered for 2 to 3 months, and then I lost some of my memory. Gradually, I am recollecting some of my colleagues' name, friends' name, students' name. Slowly, I am recouping and coming back to my normal life.
Okay, sir. Thank you for sharing your personal desire.
Thank you.
And fifth question is, have you ever thought that some improvements are necessary in the ECG machines?
A lot of improvement, I can say, because in all the aspects. See, what I'd like to tell you is, if you look at a hospital, what kind of hospitals, maybe some cardiology specialist hospital or any other multi-specialty hospital, the ECG department or the section where the MLT, medical laboratory technology department, maybe the ECG may be one among the many diagnostic techniques they are using. But if you take that ECG alone and divide it into different segments, I would like to say you can have improvement in many areas. I'm not talking on the side of a student, or I'm not talking on the side of a doctor. I am talking on the side of a layman, a patient. Because for this ECG technician, she may be doing nearly 50 or 60 ECG per day. As far as a patient is concerned, it is their first experience, maybe the first experience or second experience. So for them, for the patients, it's a new experience. For the technician, it's a daily experience. So this technician may be doing it like a carefree way of doing things, a casual way of doing things. But for the patient, it's a new thing. So the technician and the hospital management should think on the side of the patient and start doing things. Then I think they can do a lot of things, like the ECG room. There may be sparsity, shortage of space may be there, but the patients who are coming to the ECG room will be coming with a lot of tension in their mind. Sometimes they may be a really patient, sometimes there may be a future patient, they don't know. But the patients who are coming there, they should feel a kind of comfort and relaxing in the ECG room. So you can keep it a little bit lighted one, little bit aesthetically beautiful. You can place 1 or 2 pictures or something like that. Then the code can be kept little bit. Most of the time it will be very, very, very narrow. You have to adjust into that particular code. And second thing is, one patient has gone, the second patient is coming. At least you change the cloth or turn the cloth or apply some kind of spread there, so that sometimes the first patient will be having some skin disease or sweating or somewhere. The second patient has to come and lay on that. So we will feel kind of difficulty, like whether the last patient has got any skin disease or something like that, whether the same place we have to lie upon. So that's the case. And second thing is about you can have a smile onto the face, if you smile to the patient, okay, you come in, but there's no emotionless people are standing there. That's another thing. Then about the telling them, okay, I'm going to apply some gel, or it may be, if it is over, then don't worry, we will help you to remove it, everything. So make the patient comfortable there. Then about applying these leads and all, I check because some person be very fatty, body will be very fleshy. So to insert this lead will be a little bit difficult for them. But you should make sure that the patient does not feel any kind of difficulty in applying this machine. I have already told you there is a needle-like thing inside this electrodes. So if you press it very sharply, it will pierce the skin. It haven't hurt me, but I have some kind of painful when situation when they place these electrodes on my body and the leg also. They kind of they clip it and they just go because maybe so many other ECG they have to take. That may be the reason, I don't know, but that happened many a times. So that's another thing that I would like to tell you. And after that removal of this gel also, you people can give a little bit of care and help them to remove it. Most of the time they may be a paralyzed patient or a handicapped patient or some kind of difficulty patient, so helping them to remove that. And this the gel will stick to our cloth and to our body. We will feel a kind of difficulty, and most of them we use binion inside the binion, and the gel will stick together, and over that we have to put the shirt. And still we can have improvements in why don't you have a portable type of ECG, so that you don't allow the patient to come over there to the room. Rather, you can go to the room and take ECG most of the time. And another thing is I would like to tell you is the latest type of we have got sensors are there for assessing the blood sugars. We have got sensors for assessing the blood pressure. Like that, why don't you have a sensor that can be attached in some part of our body, so that which can collect the ECG from our body and continuously record it in that device. And at the same time, if this machine can send these, nowadays it's a time of this more innovations are there coming in almost all the type of diagnostic techniques. The ECG also, you can have some kind of improvement, like some kind of something can be attached on body, so they can collect these ECG waves and record it for a period of 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month. At the same time, send to the technicians or doctors, so that they can continuously monitor the change in the ECG of susceptible patients or patients who have already has undergone this kind of cardiac problems, so that it can be checked and timely action can be taken and the life of the patients can be saved. So that kind of innovations can be introduced in the field of ECG. That's what I would like to tell you. And connecting the ECG report with that of the doctors and other fraternities, so they can collectively take a decision whether that patient should be taken to the ward or to the hospital, or any medication should be given. It can be linked with the pharmacy also, and the pharmacy can suddenly give medicine to the patient. So nowadays of networking of doctors, technicians and pharmacists and patients can be combined with the ECG, and thereby we can have a better diagnosis and thereby the better treatment of the patients.
Okay, sir. Sir, our last question is, what is your opinion on the necessity of a convenient wearable ECG machine to continuously monitor heart rhythm for a heart attack susceptible people?
Well, that's a very good idea, because nowadays such kind of facilities are available in monitoring the blood sugar and various other parameters of the blood, and thereby the patients can be advised with the doctors about the change in the medication, and also whether the patient should take any kind of precaution. So the same thing can be applied to the ECG also, and if the continuous monitoring of the ECG of a patient can be done, that has got a very good effect on the health of the patient, because most of the time what happens is the ECG will be remain unnoticed. For example, in the case of diabetic patients, I would like to tell you, the diabetic patients, what they will have a kind of neuropathy, because of that they don't feel any kind of pain or change in their body. So only we can identify, or only we can diagnose if there is any problem in the cardiac activity of the patient by monitoring the ECG only. The patient don't feel any kind of difficulty. That if such kind of continuous monitoring system of ECG is attached, can be attached to the body of a patient, even though the patient does not feel any change in the ECG, the doctors can identify it, technician can identify it. Or we can store this, because whether the if it is continuously monitoring whether the ECG activity has undergone some kind of change in the night time or the morning time, or any kind of activity taking place in the body, or whether walking or any kind of physical exercise he is doing. So change in the ECG can be continuously recorded, one thing, and second thing, it can be continuously monitored by the technicians or the doctors, and thereby they can advise the patient about the possibility of any cardiac arrest nearby. So naturally, such kind of innovations in the field of ECG can help all the people, like the patients, the technicians, the doctors, everybody, to save the life, because the life, we are all doing everything to save the life of our humanity. So such kind of innovations are very, very useful, and what I would like to tell you is such kind of ideas should be implemented as early as possible to the common people, also to the people who are living in the lower strata of the society also, so that the benefit of all this development in the field of science and technology may benefit to the common man, and thereby the life of these people, the precious life of the people, can be saved.
We are coming to the end of our section, and that was the last question. You have shared a lot of personal experiences and a lot more knowledge about ECG machines that you know in your side. Thanks a lot for sharing such things.
Thank you so much for giving an opportunity to convey my difficulties and inconveniences, because we don't have any kind of opportunity. It's really a wonderful opportunity for me to vent out my difficulties, and also to connect to the people who are in the other side of this teaching fraternity, in the medical fraternity. And once again, thank you all for giving me this opportunity.
Yes, sir, that was a great session. Actually, I didn't yet expected such a nice session. It was really beyond our expectation. So it's our greatest pleasure to have you with us, sir. And heartfelt gratitude for you for your great cooperation and support. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot. And have an advanced Happy New Year, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And same to you all. Keep talking.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.